Chapter 1 Tom Takes the Tick to School. This chapter is a very small piece from the famous novel by Mark Twain, that is Adventures of Tom Sawyer. So let's read. The harder Tom tried to fasten his mind on his book, the more his ideas wandered. So, at last, with a sigh and a yawn, he gave it up. It seemed to him that the noon recess would never come. The air was utterly dead. There was not a breath stirring. It was sleepiest of sleepy days. The drowsing murmur of the 5 and 20 studying scholars soothed the soul like the spell that is in the murmur of bees. Away off in the flaming sunshine, Cardiff Hill lifted its soft green sides through the shimmering veil of heat, tinted with the purple of distance. A few birds floated on lazy wing high in the sky. No other living thing was visible but some cows, and they were asleep. Tom's heart ached to be free, or else to have something of interest to do to pass the dreary time. He had wandered into his pocket, and his face lit up with a glow of gratitude that was prayer, though he did not know it. Then, furtively, and the percacious cat box came out. He released the tick and put him on the long flat desk. The creature probably glowed with a gratitude that amounted to a prayer too at this moment, but it was premature for when he started. So let's continue the explanation now. So this is the description of a time when Tom is sitting in his classroom with all the other 25 classmates. 5 and 20 studying scholars means there are 25 classmates sitting along with him in the classroom. But he is feeling very bored and very sleepy, only because the weather is very hot. It is a very drowsy type of a weather where you feel very sleepy because of the heat. He is literally waiting for the recess, the lunchtime, so that he can relax himself, free himself. But that time doesn't seem to be coming. The period of study seems to be becoming longer. That's the feeling that he is getting. So the day is supposed to be a very hot, sultry, and a boring kind of a dull day, in which Tom also is feeling extremely sleepy and bored because he looks outside and he sees just a few birds flying, and no other creatures can he see on the sky, on the land also, but only few cows, that too they are also asleep. In all this, he is simply waiting to be free, like the animals that are outside he can see from the window. And at the meantime, because he is actually feeling bored, so his hand goes into the pocket, and as it goes into the pocket, he gets hold of a small box, the box in which the explosives which are put in the toy guns are kept, that box. And when he opens that box, there is a small tick inside which he had captured earlier, and he gets excited because now he's got something to do, something tricky to do. So he tries to play with the insect, the tick, and he puts it on the desk. Now that poor little tick was thinking that it is free, and it was really grateful to Tom. But that being grateful was really premature. And the tick tried to move out, travel or crawl out, very thankful to Tom. But Tom turned its side with a pin and made him take a new direction. So this is what Tom tried to play with it, because he was getting bored. Tom's bosom friend means very close friend, sat next to him, suffering just as Tom had been. He was also feeling as bored as Tom was. And now he was deeply and gratefully interested in this entertainment at instant. That means instantly he was very attracted to this entertainment, this game going on between Tom with the tick, because he was also getting extremely bored. The bosom friend was Joe Harper. The two boys were sworn friends all the week and embattled enemies on Saturdays. That means both these friends were very close friends, and they had become friends some weeks back, and they used to on Saturdays have fights or play with other people on Saturdays. Joe took a pin out of his lapel. Lapel is the pocket of the jacket that he was wearing, and began to assist in exercising the prisoner. Now he was also doing the same thing, shifting the direction of the tick with the help of a pin. The sport grew in interest momently. Immediately it was becoming very interesting, that game for them. Soon Tom said that they were interfering with each other and neither getting the fuller benefit of the tick. But now, because the game was getting interesting, so Tom said that they were interfering with each other, so he had to make some rule so that both the boys could get the benefit of playing with that tick. So he put Joe's slate on the desk and drew a line down the middle of it from top to bottom. So he took Joe's desk and put a line from top to bottom of the desk. Now, he said, as long as he is on your side, you can stir him up and I'll let him alone. But if you let him away and get on my side, you're to leave him alone as long as I keep him from crossing over. All right, go ahead, start him up. So now what Tom says is, he makes a line and he says that now this is the line. This is your side and my side. One is my side and one is your side. And so if the tick crosses your side and comes to my side, then I will play with him and you will not interfere. But as long as he is on your side, I will stir him. You will stir him, but I will not interfere. This is what Tom laid the rule about the game. The tick escaped from Tom presently and crossed the equator. Joe harassed him, and then he got away and crossed back again. This change of base occurred often. From one boy was worrying the tick with absorbing interest. The other wouldn't look on with interest as strong. The two heads bowed together over the slate, and the two souls did all things else. So what happened is, now when the tick was on one side of Tom's side, Joe wouldn't do anything to it, but as the tick would cross over, only Tom could play at that time. But when the tick would cross over, Joe would play with it, stir it with the pin and whatever he would want to do, and Tom wouldn't do anything. And both these boys were very engaged, very interestedly bowed down their heads. They were not even bothered about anything around them. At last, luck seemed to settle and abide with Joe. The tick tried this and that and the other, of course, and got as excited and as anxious as the boys themselves. But time and again, just as he would have victory in his very grasp, so to speak, and Tom's fingers wouldn't be twitching to begin, Joe's spin would deftly head him off and keep possession. So now what happened? Now the tick also started getting excited with the game, and it was interested in the game, and Joe was stirring it up. And for a long time, the tick stayed in Joe's sight. So for a long time, Tom couldn't play with the tick, and his hands were itching, literally. Like, that means it's not that his hands were itching literally, but that he was getting eager to play, getting anxious to play with the tick, which he was not getting to play with because of the rule that he had made. At last, Tom couldn't stand it any longer. The temptation was too strong. So he reached out and lent a hand with a spin. Joe was angry in a moment. He said, now what happened? Now Tom couldn't bear waiting for so long because the tick wouldn't come to his side, and Joe was playing away with it on his side, and he was immediately changing his direction so that the tick would remain in Joe's portion of the boundary. So, but now Tom couldn't bear it, and he got anxious, and he put his spin to the tick and started playing with it, and that made Joe very annoyed and angry about it. He said, Tom, let him alone. I only just want to stir him up a little, Joe. Now, Joe got angry and he told Tom, leave him alone. So Tom in reply said, I just want to stir him a little, because he was getting tempted to do that. No, sir, it ain't fair. You just let him alone. Joe did not agree with it. Blame it, I ain't going to stir him much. He said, leave it, I'm not going to. Tom told Joe that I'm not going to stir it much, let me do it. Let him alone, I tell you. I won't. They started to argue. Tom wanted to stir it and Joe was not letting him. You shall. He's on my side of the line. Look here, Joe Harbour. Whose is that tick? Joe was very angry. He said, he's on my side of the line and you will not touch him. So now Tom got angry and he started to say something else, that whose tick is it? It is my tick, so it is my rule. So Joe said, I don't care whose tick it is. He's on my side of the line and you shan't touch it. He said, I don't care whose tick it is. It is on my side, so you will not touch the tick. Well, I'll just bet I will, though. He's my tick, and I'll do what I please with him, or die. Now Tom was very angry. He said, I will do whatever I do, whether I have to die, but I will stir it because it is my tick. He was also very adamant about it. Now, when the argument was going on between Joe and Tom, something happened. Someone was looking from behind. Let's see what happened then. A tremendous whack came down on Tom's shoulders and its duplicate on Joe's, and for the space of 2 minutes the dust continued to fly from the two jackets and the whole school to enjoy it. The boys had been too absorbed to notice the hush that had stolen upon the school a while before, when the master came tiptoeing down the room and stood over them. He had contemplated a good part of the performance before he contributed his bit of a variety to it. So, what happened? The master, their teacher was standing behind them and he gave them a whack. A whack is a tight hit on the shoulder. First on Tom's shoulder and then on same type of tight hit on Joe's shoulder. So much that in 2 minutes, for the 2 minutes, the dust, it was so hard, the whack was so hard that the dust in their jackets flew in the class, and everyone in the classroom enjoyed it. They were so busy playing with the tick that they didn't even notice the master coming and everyone watching the fun. So, and the master had already planned what he will do and was prepared what he will do to these two boys. And so, this is how the game of the two boys with the tick ended. This is just a very, very tiny part of the adventures of Tom Sawyer which we have read in this chapter.